Hi, my friends. This is Weekly Options, and I'm just sitting here on a Sunday evening looking at the price of silver versus the US dollar. And silver is really going up here. We are now above $40 silver. We are sitting roughly at $40.43. And we just had a huge breakout here starting at 9 o'clock on Friday and going into Sunday, when the markets opened again here on the futures, we are heading up some more. Uh, and now we're sitting at around $40.43. We had an initial big kind of volume infusion right here. And that was the first hint that I had that something was going on. And then we just had another big pump right here and traded down, and now we're off to the races. So this shows that we've got large uh, involvement in the volume on silver, and silver chart right now is looking pretty good. You can see that it's broken above the 100 period regression channel, and it's just well on its way. So this looks like a confirmed breakout for silver. I trade silver in terms of trading the SLV, and so we'll just see the SLV chart. As you can see right in this area, I bought some January 2026 calls, and this was on Friday, I'm sorry, this was on Tuesday, the 5th of August. And so I've been in this for most of the month, and we're now getting a nice breakout. We're going to see on Tuesday when the markets come back online, if this move sustains itself, that silver will be somewhere kind of up in this range. And so that's very gratifying to see that on a silver trade. I like silver. I like being in the name, and it looks like I'm being rewarded right now. We'll do one last look here. We'll go just take a look at the 5-minute chart here briefly and see what it's doing for us. So we had some of this large breakout here. Looks like we had a couple good volume spikes, and now we're just kind of consolidating sideways, and we may just push up some more. So we'll go back to the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart's pretty much what I like looking at as a swing trader. I know some people just look at the daily or a 2-day or a 12-hour. I kind of like the 4-hour chart for most of what I look at to trade. Okay, so that's silver. Let's just look briefly at gold. This is gold here. We'll kind of scroll out for a second. We had this descending or this wedge formation, which seems fairly symmetric, and it's been in this wedge formation since April. Bounce up, hit the top, come in, hit the bottom, hit the top, hit the bottom, hit the top, hit the top again, and now we've gone through there some more. We'll kind of get this arrow going in that direction. So we can see here on Sunday night, gold is moving higher as well. And as we look at these 4-hour candles, we're just seeing green, 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 green all the way across the board. That's good for the gold trade. I am long GLD, and as you can see here, I bought some December 25 calls back on August the 1st. I bought some more calls on August the 14th, and we were just kind of sideways trending here, and now we're breaking out, and I expect gold to be moving higher as well. So that's a pretty cool trade. I like gold, I like silver. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing today. So Bitcoin, as I feared, is just kind of going down. I saw kind of all of this kind of downward movement here, and I said, how many warnings did I need? It came up, little fake out, and then a breakdown. And last week on my video, we were kind of sitting in no man's land right in here. And I said, I suspect that this is going to go ahead and come down into this little support zone, or it may kind of come back up into this area of strength and maybe try to regain some of this stuff around like 120,000. And it looks like, unfortunately, if you are long the name, Bitcoin has gone down well into the $107,000 range. We had some nice volume, some wicks here where buyers stepped in, which is where I think this is a support zone. And I think buyers are going to try to come and defend this area. I think there's some liquidity here. And if we can't stay in this area, then we're going down some more, and we might be going down to 102, 100,000 or so. I'm currently not in IBIT, which we'll look at IBIT here for a second. IBIT, as you know, is the ETF that reflects the price of Bitcoin. It's come down here about to touch the 200 period moving average. You know, if it's going to bounce, it should bounce somewhere around here, which is kind of what you saw on the Bitcoin chart. And if it doesn't hold that, then we may be facing a full-fledged rollover. And on the 4 hour chart here, of course, this is showing the trading on almost a continuous basis, since this is the Bitcoin US dollar perpetual contract. And we are well into this support zone. Hopefully we can see a little bounce up and have it go back north if that's kind of your view on Bitcoin. Some other names I'm looking at this week. I closed out App 11. I got a nice move on App 11, bought right in this area, and sold right here for a 26% gain on my options. And that was pretty nice. I wanted to take a little bit of risk off the table going into the weekend. And so I exited this trade, I believe it was on Friday. And that was a good trade for me. If it comes back down, I'll look to maybe get back into the name. But right now it was a good trade, a nice, good swing trade. And that's it. Webull, this is something that's just a very big disappointment to me. I kind of flubbed this trade and I should have gotten out and I didn't. That was just emotional trading on my part. That's bad to do that. But I got in somewhere around here. We had a nice pump up. I should have taken my profits anywhere in this area. I allowed it to come down, foot around this range, and then around in here, I said, I'm going to hold through earnings. So this white line here is when they reported earnings, and it just went down and down. And I think it's time to exit this name. So unless there's a nice, good turnaround at the start of trading on Tuesday, this is one of the ones that I'm going to look to cut first. The next we'll look at here is Celsius Holding. We had a very nice gap up here, and we closed at the top of that range, and also kind of got a new near-term high here. I went ahead and entered some January calls right in this area. I did that on Friday, and I think I'm just going to try to play this to the upside. Let me shrink this down a little bit. So as you can see, we had a little bit of volume here. Of course, it kind of closed down um, at that 12:30, sorry, the 8:30 to 12:30 candle, but then 12:30 it kind of came back up and it closed the day pretty high. We'll actually just look at the daily on that, and you can actually see here what I'm talking about. So this is a daily candle. It gapped up, came down, and then buyers came right back in and pushed it all the way back up near the top of the range. So I'm in that name, and we'll see if it kind of gets some legs and runs higher in the next week. So I'm excited about that trade. And then if you also look at the 100 period linear regression channel, it is sloping up and to the right, which is what you want to see. I like looking at the 4 hour chart, and it's also doing that on the 4 hour chart quite nicely. So we're in Celsius Holdings, and we'll see how that goes. The next one we'll talk about is Howmet Aerospace. This was just a name I was kind of looking at and looking at it for a while. We had a nice, good trend up, and then we had it sell off with some volume, and it's come down, and it's kind of just sideways consolidated here. The question is it going to break down or is it going to break up? Um, I don't know. I entered some long calls here. Was not a high conviction play, and I just went in at like a quarter size or something like that. Got some calls dating out to January. what I saw was that this 21 period moving average had come down and was, now that all these moving periods are essentially fairly close together, and yet the 200 period moving average is still sloping upward. So this could potentially be a pivot to turn around and head north and maybe regain some of this area here in 190, 180. We'll see. Um, I'll have a tight stop on this, and we'll see how this trade works out this week. Land Bridge, I've been pretty disappointed with Land Bridge. We've just been trading sideways for quite some time. So I'm long options, I'm long December contracts, but you never want something to trade sideways. I keep waiting for this thing to just break up here. We had a nice good volume spike here as buyers came in, and buyers sold it off. We had a couple nice spikes here of volume without a lot of movement, just kind of coiled in a tight range. When I see these kind of volume spikes here, it just tells me that perhaps there's some buyers coming in, loading up on the position. And I'm just waiting to see this turn up here and really reclaim 59, 60, maybe even 64. We'll see if Landbridge can do that this week. If not, then I'll be out of the name. Lamb Research. This is just another one here. We've got the linear regression channel, 100 period linear regression channel moving upward. I got in some calls right in this area. We had a nice little push up. Market sold off on Friday. We all know what that was. And we'll see if Monday we can kind of continue this trend. Right now, it looks like it's okay to continue to hold this name, but I'll be watching it very closely moving into the week. And I'll be looking somewhere up here. If it can get up into this maybe $100 range, $105 range, I'll be looking to take some profits on that and then move on to another trade. Next, we've got NVDA. So NVIDIA just really sold off pretty hard on Friday. I think it was down, well, it was down 3.32%, I believe, on Friday. And I bought calls here before earnings. It kind of came up. We had this kind of doji candle around earnings, and then we came down on Friday. I still have a lot of confidence in NVIDIA. The linear regression channel for the 100 period is moving upward at a nice, good inclination angle. And I expect buyers to come back into NVIDIA and get this thing moving on the right track again. So I'm still long NVIDIA. Palantir's another nice name. Right here on this candle, I went ahead and bought some February 2026 calls. We've been consolidating sideways, and I do think that we're going to go ahead and get some more action north on Palantir. And so we'll watch that trade this week and see how that kind of turns out. Once again, silver, we're going to be watching this closely. Silver is still holding $40.44, and we'll see how that goes going into Monday and Tuesday. When the market's open Tuesday, it's a shortened trading week. We've got some news coming out throughout the middle of the week, and so we'll watch that carefully. We'll stay nimble and hopefully make good trades. Well, guys, this is Weekly Options. That's all I've got for today, and happy trading.